Fuchs in the house, coming to you on a Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Yeah, my lighting I'm seeing isn't working the way I want it to in my new location. So, yeah, changing up. So, I guess you're getting an orange me today. I guess I could monkey around with that, but I'm not going to. Hope everybody's having a good Hump Day today. Uh, have some comedies to go over and then an action drama. The comedies, not so much. Kind of, again, for me, comedies are, yeah, certain ones are good, and then there's others that, trying to go into the obscure world, and not so much. So start off with a movie called Nature Calls, 2013. Make sure 2012 for this one, and this is kind of on a couple of YouTubes ago. I covered lower learning. Basically, uses too much swearing with kids. To be honest, I thought this movie, if it had less swearing, it would have been funnier. I think. Just point where it's like, yeah, there's been enough swearing out there that I don't think the swearing does what it used to. That's just me. I don't know, something that back in the 70s or 80s you maybe get more of a in 90s, but as it's been done so much that it's like, do you really need it? I totally understand it. And then there's a group of Boy Scouts, the troop leaders trying to keep for one last hurrah, kind of keep the scouts going in his area. And like I say, a lot of swearing, and there's a scene where they're in the woods and there's a nudist that's driving around, so it ends up, hey, there's her breasts and stuff like that. And the thing is, the scene's far away, so the audience doesn't get this. I mean, the kids probably saw it more in real life, but at the end of the movie, so there's nothing with nudity really. I mean, it's brief and it's like, yeah, whatever. Also, in the end of the movie, they show the scoutmaster on the bike of the nudist, and it's like, okay, what was the point of that? So it just, but if you compare Lower Learning and Nature Calls, I would prefer Nature Calls. It's got a 3.9 where Lower Learning got a 4. I would reverse it, but that's me. The next one is a spoof of Hunger Games called Starving Games. It's got a 3.2, and to be honest, I think I'd prefer this over Nature Calls and Lower Learning. Nature Calls, sorry. Patton Oswalt is in it. He recently did something AP Bio. And then Johnny Knoxville's in this, and he's like a writer, actor, I think producer. But he was a writer of the Jackass movies. So just to give you some information from some actors in Nature Calls. So going on to spoof of Hunger Games, Starving Games. They gave this a 3.2, and I thought it was a little better than that. Still not the great, it's somewhere, don't know what to do, throw it on. A little more towards the adult. To be honest, less swearing. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it a little more, I guess. It has some moments, not all the time, but it's like you try, and it's some of it works, some of it doesn't. But I would take this over if you gave me a choice. I'd go with Starving Games over Nature Calls or Lower Learning. Maiara Walsh, and in a movie recently, her boyfriend's secret kind of sounded a little interesting back in November of 2018. I just reading something there, possibly as I don't know if that was an obscure movie or not. And then another person, Brant, Daugherty, he recently was in Another Tango. So those were some actors from Starving Games. And my last movie, I'm going with a movie from the 70s, action drama. Has a little comedy in a little bit. Convoy, Kristofferson, dealing with trucking industry. I think it got a 6.3. I can say that. That sounds about right. And Kris Kristofferson, basically music, actor. He's done a little of everything. One of his recent movies, Blaze, dealing with Blaze Foley. I guess he's the person that started Texas outlaw music. Not familiar with it, but sounds like somebody that with music ties that is interesting to look into. And then Ally MacGraw was in Convoy, and she hasn't done anything recently. Last movie she did was back in the '90s called Glam. She was married to Steve McQueen, and I want to say The Getaway. I think she was in with Steve McQueen. Don't quote me on that. She was in some movies back in the '70s. But yeah, somebody that just wrapped up her movie career in the '90s. So those are the movies that I covered, and I hope everybody halfway through the week. Hope you enjoy the remainder of the week. Have a good one, everybody.